Hey VC, this is Carlos from As the Table Turns. I'm finally making a video, back making another video. I haven't made one in a while, just been busy, and yeah. But I wanted to come on here and just kind of talk about my year in review, you know, the whole thing, and kind of go through it. So it's going to be a bit of a long video, but hopefully it'll be fun. Yeah, thanks for joining. Oh, and also want to thank everybody. I'm up to 1,000 subscribers, so thank you all. I didn't do a contest, but I probably will do a contest now that I have hit 1,000. So that video will probably be coming soon. But yeah, thank you so much for all of you subscribing to me and wanting to hear more about things that I talk about, records I talk about. So yeah. All right, so first part of the year of 2023. Let's see here. I started listening to Lonnie Liston Smith, and this was the first album that I got of his. Then I got a second one. Then I think I got his greatest hits, and then I got a third, Reflections, I believe. But yeah, really great spiritual jazz. I mean, that's what I consider it. I think pretty much that's what it is. But I mean, there's funky parts of it too. But it's definitely spiritual jazz. You know, listen to these, trip out. But yeah, very cool. Another thing is I wanted to talk about this. Dylan from Noble Records. So I've gotten most of these. I don't know if I've gotten all of them, but I think I've gotten most of his releases. And if you don't know Dylan from Noble Records, he has been doing these exclusives with Guerson, a record label out of Italy that mostly does hard rock and hard psych, like grails, and reissues them. So he's been getting exclusives through them, and he's also going to be opening up his own label, where he's going to release. He already has one that he has, I think, pressed, jackets made, all that kind of stuff, and it's ready to go. I don't know what's tying it up, but anyway, he's going to be releasing that one. I think it's a local band from South Carolina, something Fire. I'm not remembering it right now, but anyway, I wanted to show some of these records that he's released through Guerson, and then also another little side label thing or whatever. Zipper, you know. These are all really, really hard to find. Wara. This is like South American hard psych or hard rock. Blue Max. That's one of the newest ones that came out. Same with this one. Magic Ship. Anyway, wanted to kind of go through some of those and just show everything that he's been doing. Haven't really heard anybody talking about it at all. And that's kind of a shame. We should really support him, you know, in creating a label and putting out really cool stuff that people want, you know. Anyway, and then also in that same vein, I picked up about 4 volumes of this, Brown Acid, the first 4. But yeah, along the same lines, hard psych, hard rock. Yeah, but really, really great. Very, you know, hard to find bands, just one-off bands that made little hits, you know, and yeah, really hard to find gems. So those are pretty cool. And that's put out. Actually, I think Dylan worked with them as well, doing a thing, Writing Easy Records. So right there. So Writing Easy Records, but yeah, that's the one that puts that out. Another thing, another band, probably that's become one of my favorites of this whole year. I mean, I found out about them. You know, they came out in I think 2018, 2019, but that is Surprise Chef, and one of the 3 bands that I saw in concert this year. Really, really awesome. I think I've said this before on other videos when I've mentioned them, but it's like lo-fi beats done hi-fi. You know, with all real instruments, guys on stage playing, not just some laptop playing beats. You know, it's these guys are really great musicians, and yeah, Australian band. So check them out, Surprise Chef. Another cool band that I kind of found out about this year was Bacao Rhythm and Steel Band. These are some of their albums here, but they basically do cover songs, lots of cover songs. I mean, I think some of these are originals, but I think they do mostly covers, and do them like a steel drum band, though. Very cool. Check them out, Bacao Rhythm and Steel Band. But yeah, been getting theirs. I got some of their 7 inches too. Eddie Lockjaw Davis box set. Yeah, really, really happy I picked this up. Love this type of jazz, and he's one of the best at it. So yeah, Eddie Lockjaw Davis with Shirley Scott. Shirley Scott and Jerome Richardson and George DeVivier and Arthur Edgehill. Those are all the players on it. Great box set. Another thing I don't hear people really mentioning or talking about is Jazz Dispensary. I think they've done a really amazing job at curating albums that are down their alley and that their audience really enjoys. And that's the Jazz Dispensary Top Shelf series, I think. But yeah, this was, I think this was the first one. This and the Bernard Purdy were the first. And yeah, really love this stuff. David Axelrod is definitely right down my alley of what I like, you know, and he's one of the reasons why I started following that path, actually, of this type of music, is that 70s blaxploitation sort of feel. But yeah, really love David Axelrod. But yeah, Jazz Dispensary, I think they've been killing it all the way around, man, with their Jazz Dispensary comps that they do for Record Store Day, and then also these top shelf releases have all been really, really great. Johnny Hammond Gears, Pleasure, Joyous. Yeah, really great all around. I think I've talked about him before, but Sven Wunder, most of this stuff I think is Bandcamp only, but I could be wrong. But yeah, this was the first album that I bought of his, Natura Morta, and Blind Island Records was the one that brought this up, or Blind Island on YouTube. But yeah, I bought these other ones here. I would say this one's a little bit more on the Asian side as far as the sound, the world music that he's kind of going for. Eastern Flowers is obviously that, Eastern. This is probably the weakest one. Then he has a new one that just came out. I didn't like it that much listening to it, but yeah, a lot of people do. They really like it, and I can see why. It's just I feel like it's almost just more of the same of those, so I didn't jump on it. Also, I picked this up after Lawrence from Melamano 414 told me about it. And this is the Harvey Vern Barrio Band, so this is like psychedelic salsa. Yeah, really, really cool music. I was supposed to be on a live with him on Soul Disco's live stream for Latin music. But yeah, if you want to check him out, he knows a lot about Latin music, about soul music in general. Yeah, reggae as well. Yeah, anyway. Also this year, I've been picking up the Fania Records releases through Craft Recordings. Lately, they've been putting out some Tito Puente, some Ray Barretto. I think they're finishing up finally with Willie Colon and Hector Lavoe. But yeah, they've been putting out some really great releases. Both of these records are really amazing. So check them out. I also went on a Sonny Stitt buying spree. These are some of them. There are 8 albums altogether, but love the photo on that one. Such a beautiful photo. But yeah, just really love his playing. I love the fact that he could play with anyone. Honestly, he could probably sit in with anyone. And wouldn't matter. He could take it to the extreme if you needed him to. But most of the time, he liked to play somewhat in the pocket, you know. But he stretched past it. He just did it in a beautiful way. So that's why I really like Sonny Stitt. Great album. The Ironsides. I know it through Kelly Finnegan because I follow Kelly Finnegan, and he's in the band and played on this album. But it has some other people that are a part of it, and it's Max Ramey, who's the bassist, Lewis King, who wrote the arrangements, Sergio Rios, and Coal Mine Records just in general, you know. That's kind of who they think for this album. But if you love, once again, that same David Axelrod arrangement, along with like the beauty of Piero Piccioni or Piero Umiliani, I believe. But yeah, it's just that 70s, really beautiful side of the 70s, like orchestrated music. But then also that David Axelrod, you know, hard-hitting, really funky drums. And, yeah, just a great album. Check it out if you haven't, The Ironsides. Another great album that you should listen to and check out is Andrew Gabbard's Cedar City Sweetheart. To me, this was the album of the summer. Just really, really great. If you've heard his first album, I didn't connect with it that much. But once he like kind of went the country way, the country rock way, which I guess he's a big fan of, I think it really worked. I feel like it feels like a psychedelic cowboy, like a drugged out or a stoned cowboy kind of sound to it. And then his vocals, I think, make it sound more modern. But I think it's a nice cross between those two things. So Andrew Gabbard, check that one out. One that I know it was from 2 years ago, but just, you know, I had bought this, I think, back in 2021, listened to it, but then this came out, and it's the EP, The Abominable, and really, really enjoyed this. Yeah, great EP. But both are just really, really amazing. Check them out. El Michael's Affair, Yeti Season, and then the EP is The Abominable. But yeah, check those out. Really funky, really cool. Another concert that I went to this year was Alton Gunn. Saw them at the same place I saw Surprise Chef at the Felton Music Hall. Small venue, you know, probably 200 people maybe, fits 200, maybe 300 max. But yeah, really cool. You know, really dug it. If you don't know Alton Gunn, check them out. Right now I'm forgetting the type of music that they call this, but it's kind of that Turkish rock. I believe that's what this is. So, yeah, or what they consider it. All right, Bill Callahan, not Callahan, but his group and his solo stuff, but Smog. Yeah, check those out. I got turned on to him, and I'm surprised I didn't know anything about him. You know, he's back from the 90s and early 2000s. Yeah, Hub Tunes. Mike from the Hub Tunes is the one that told me about Smog. So thank you, Mike. I've really enjoyed him. Love his voice and his phrasing, and yeah, very enjoyable. Dorothy Ashby box set. For me, Dorothy Ashby was a huge find, I believe, last year or maybe the year before. Maybe 2021 is when I found out about Dorothy Ashby. But since then, I've just been obsessed, and was really awesome that Newland came out with this box set. I know this may sound crazy, but for me, right now especially, this was as important as getting the Bill Evans box set in my book, in my opinion. But yeah, all her first 6 albums, you know, it'd been great if they would have put in, you know, all of her albums, just done the whole thing. But because I think there's 3 more after that, so it would have been a 9 disc box set. But anyway, yeah, it would have probably been like out of people's price range, and people would have really maybe not gone for it at like $400+, but that it probably would have been. But yeah, but what I did was I already had this that I had been waiting for the repress from Vinyl Me Please. But the Rubaiyat of Dorothy Ashby, amazing record. Love that record so much. And then recently, I bought the Cadet box set. Yeah, I put all the discs away. That's why it's really light right now. But yeah, in that comes Dorothy Ashby Afro Harping. So got that one now, and basically got all of her stuff except I think for 2 albums maybe. Yeah, I think 2 albums. I think one of them is a live concert, maybe even like a Christmas something like that. But yeah, love Dorothy Ashby so much. I really think that she was very important. Even though I haven't heard about her, I just feel like the fact that she was a harpist, one, and made that an instrument in jazz that you could use in jazz when people thought it was impossible. And she did that being a woman in jazz. So kind of a male-dominated field. So I thought that was really cool. Let's see. Got into kind of hard rock, heavy metal-ish stuff. Newer stuff like the OC's Orc and King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard XV or 15. But yeah, really, really cool. Very, very hard rock, heavy metal stuff. Let's see. Kelly Finnegan Kelly Finnegan put out a cassette. Can you see that? No, focus, maybe. There it is, for Coal Mine Records. I don't have a cassette player that I trust. Sandro Brugnolini, Sandro Brugnolini. Kind of like same Ennio Morricone or Piero Piccioni or Piero Umiliani. Kind of along the same lines as those. Bobby Humphrey. Picked up some more of her albums. I can't find where the other one is right now. Hey VC, this is Carlos. I had to cut this video in half because it was just running way too long into the night where I was losing light, and yeah, so I had to cut it short and redo this. So I'm doing this maybe a week later. So anyway, one thing, just kind of showing my style of as far as what I like. This came out and everybody was really excited about it. I'm glad that I picked it up because I would like to have just different artists in my collection that I can go to as points of reference for how they play. And it's not that this is a bad album or anything. It's a great album, but I guess what I enjoyed more came out around the same time was this Clark Terry, Candid. I really enjoyed this a lot more, and it's a bigger group. I really enjoyed this a great deal more. They came out around the same time. It's not like you're going to try and ever compare these two albums. I'm just trying to show what I enjoyed more than kind of this bit more, I don't know, just out there esoteric type jazz. Anyway, I don't know if esoteric's the right word, but it's got a repress finally. So I was excited to get this in. Chet Baker Sings. Yep, definitely one of my favorite jazz albums of all time. Just love it. Love his voice. Some people hate his voice. I really love his voice. I love his trumpet playing. I just love the way that he covered these standards. I think it belongs in everybody's collection, I think. Okay, and a band that I really enjoyed. There are two albums that I have. I'm hoping they're coming out with another one. But that's Kokoroko. It's right there, Kokoroko. So, yeah, really enjoyed this album. This was their first EP. Heard this, my DJ friend, somebody brought it to a vinyl night and he played it, and I really liked it. Yeah, this is their new album though. And while I like that one, I like this one even more. This is their newest album that came out last year. And yeah, just three huge songs for me. Iwa Inu, Age of Ascent, and Dido. On the first side, just those three tracks in a row especially, just are killer. Really love this album. So for me, I feel like this along with another album, Okonski, Coal Mine Records, Okonski, I'll have to grab that. It's kind of a shame that I didn't mention Okonski, but I should have. Yeah, this was an album that I really enjoyed, and I'm glad I picked up. Just beautiful, simple piano. I say simple, but it's not trying to overdo it. They're not trying to overdo it, and beautiful melodies. And then they bring in those cool drums and bass that just kind of make it more modern. But I think like I said, this would be another album that I think that introduces jazz to people that haven't really listened to it or don't really want to listen to it. But yeah, check it out. But along with that one, I think these are great entry points for people to jazz. You know, that don't really know a whole lot, but about jazz, or haven't heard a whole lot of jazz. I think this is a great album for that. It's kind of world music mixed with kind of what am I trying to say? Island type sounds, you know, not necessarily Jamaican, not necessarily, just kind of an island feel, along with jazz, basically, and some kind of, you know, African rhythmic things going on in it as well. But yeah, definitely very cool album. Kokoroko, check them out. This is Could We Be More? That's the name of this album. The Beatles had a single that came out, so that was cool. Another thing that I've been kind of collecting and getting into is Japanese, like, funky jazz or funk soul stuff. And that I bought this last year and I talked about it. Funky Stuff by Yuro Inagaki and his Soul Media. But yeah, really cool album. Check it out. I went a little deeper, got some different people. Akira Ishikawa and his Count Buffaloes. Some of his stuff is really funky and like funky jazz, and then some of his stuff kind of gets out there, like, you know, honking horns and screeching honking horns, and definitely more on the freer side. For the Count Buffaloes especially, there's a couple albums the Count Buffaloes make that are very avant-garde, free jazz-y-ish, but yeah, very cool album. This is Akira Ishikawa. He made this album, African Rock, after he went to Africa, and it's kind of about his experiences there. So, very cool album. Pick this one up, Sounds of Sound Limited, Takeshi Inomata and the Sound Limited. He's a drummer. I think the same thing as Akira Ishikawa. I think he's a drummer as well, but so good, man. Very funky, very blaxploitation-esque, kind of funky jazz. So yeah, very cool. Very glad to have that. I got this Woodstock Generation, Yuro Inagaki and Soul Media. This is more on the kind of, and that one actually, so the Sounds of Sound, this also has some like guitar in it too, some electric guitar, so it kind of has some psychedelic feel to it as well. But this, even more so, has a psychedelic feel. It's called Woodstock. But yeah, this is kind of his take on maybe like psych rock. But yeah, very, very cool. But has funky moments in it too. I think he just always they always just kind of come back to that funky kind of drums and everything. This one as well, Head Rock by Yuro Inagaki and his Soul Media. Another really, really cool one. Very psychedelic, very acid rock, I think is kind of what they're going for here. But yeah, definitely check these out. These are amazing. So I was able to pick up this and this right now. They're selling them on Cromulent, and it was the first time I had ever purchased anything from there. They seem kind of sketchy a little bit, but I've seen their Instagram posts and yeah, just kind of read reviews and everything, and it was like the only you know, they're a legit place and everything, Cromulent Records, but the only thing was people complained about is they don't really have great communication as far as when you're going to get your records, because these were a pre-order. I pre-ordered them in August, and they were supposed to be come in October, and I barely got them at the beginning of December. So yeah, that's you kind of have to deal with that a little bit, but they're legit. You won't get scammed. It's not a scam. But yeah, Cromulent Records, those two are on there right now. Some of those Count Buffaloes are on there as well. Akira Ishikawa, they got a lot of his stuff too. But yeah, check them out. They're a little on the expensive side because they're imports. They're 55 bucks, you know, 55 to 60 bucks. Some of them are a little bit cheaper, I think, but yeah. This came in on Mike the Ingroove. He posted this, or, you know, he does his Thursday videos. But yeah, Yusef Lateef, Detroit, latitude, longitude thing. But yeah, super funky jazz as well. Really enjoyed this. Glad I was able to pick it up. Once again, this was expensive because it's an import. It was like 55 bucks, I think, as well. I've been tracking him down and tracking this record down. I want to get one of his other records too. He's like standing in this kind of very Tron-esque kind of graphic standing in the middle of it. I forget what the record's called, but that one's kind of cool. I really dig this one though, and especially for the song, people always reference the Time is Slipping Away song that the album is named after, the title track. But I really love this song, New Beginning. It's on side B. Just an awesome, like, old soul R&B track. He has a great voice, but just one of those kind of smooth soul, really cool songs. New Beginning on this, and that is Dexter Wansel. Wansel or Wansel? I forget. I don't know how you say it, but yeah, really cool. Love that cover. But yeah, that was a very cool. I'm glad I picked up that record. Also, I didn't bring them all, but I picked up like 6 Eddie Palmieri records. I was, like I said on my previous recording for this same video, I said that I went on the Soul Disco, her live stream about Latin music, and I really wanted to pick up, so I kind of picked them up. I knew I wanted them, but I picked them up and listened to them prior to that live stream so that I could be educated as far as these records. But yeah, very, very cool Latin jazz. The song Cafe on here is really amazing. Super slow jam, but just has that awesome, cool Latin vibe, Latin feel. Eddie Palmieri is a legend and a master, not only in Latin jazz, but just in jazz in general. He can play standards and do his own thing on standards all day long. So yeah, definitely a big legend. I saw these a year ago, 2 years ago maybe, on Coal Mine Records. It's not their label that put these out, but they do the kind of labels that they like, you know, that they kind of partner with. And this was one that was pretty interesting, very cool, kind of world music, but it's kind of its own thing. You know, I don't really know what to say about it. It's kind of its own thing, but kind of that world music vibe. But yeah, Misha Panfilov, Momentum. And then this is his group, I think. Yeah, Misha Panfilov Sound Combo. This is another one of theirs. This is called Days as Echoes. But yeah, same thing, kind of along that same world music sound. But yeah, definitely just a cool vibe, both of these. Really amazing albums. Check these out. Misha Panfilov. It's right there. So, yeah. All right, what are we doing next? Pick this record up, Giles and McDonald. McDonald and Giles. McDonald and Giles. This is, you can't you can't put this record into a box at all. It's psychedelic, it's funky. Yeah, I just don't know really what to put this album into, what kind of category to put it into. And you don't need to. That's what's great. McDonald and Giles, check it out. Amazing album, front to back. Not a bad song in this whole album. Really amazing. Glad I picked this up. Yeah, I think this is still available on Ingroove's website. This is a band that I've been wanting to collect for a little while now, and that is the Heliocentrics. I need to pick up, I wanted to grab these though because everybody seems to want these, and this was the only one in the US at the time on Discogs. Lloyd Miller with the Heliocentrics. Yeah, kind of like free jazzy-ish, avant-garde jazz, but with the Heliocentrics. So it definitely brings it down, tames it down with them. But yeah, super cool album. Definitely check that one out. Yeah. Also Orlando Julius with the Heliocentrics. So this is, you know, kind of that, well, not kind of that African vibe, but with kind of Fela Kuti a bit. But yeah, definitely check them out. But I need to pick up some of the Heliocentric, just their regular albums, just them, because those are cool too. Glad I was able to pick this up too. La Planète Sauvage, or Savage. It's the soundtrack for that movie. This is the expanded edition. Yeah, so really glad I was able to grab this one. Just a really cool funky tracks, you know, just funky drum breaks and stuff like that, as far as like, and once again, just along that same line of the stuff I'm really into that right now, in that 70s blaxploitation, soundtracky, orchestrated but minimal, kind of grounds it with that kind of hard-hitting, funky drum and bass stuff that they do. So yeah, super cool. This is a really cool album. I'm forgetting the name of the person that introduced me to this. He's part of the Gunkles on YouTube with Mike from Hub Tunes. Forgetting what his name is though right now. But yeah, Kikugaku Moyo. Let's see, what is this one called? It says right here, Masana Temples, sorry. But yeah, don't really know how to describe them as far as, but like really what they are. But yeah, it's like they can get really raucous and really crazy, or they can be very chill, and in the same song. So one of the songs, Dripping Sun, is very much that. But it's a song that it's just fun to listen to. You kind of get lost in it, and kind of have to remind yourself that you're still listening to the same song. It's just different areas of the song. But yeah, very cool album. Definitely check them out. Love the album artwork. I've been picking up lots of hip hop. Been kind of in a hip hop kick right now. Busta Rhymes, love him. Picked up that one. Some other stuff here. Kind of go through it. Big Pun. Kind of found out about this guy Marlo, and produced by La Orange. But yeah, cool artist there. Mace, just got some. Just trying to get all the basics, you know, and but then also kind of branching out with, like I said, with that Marlo, La Orange, I haven't listened to this one yet, but this is another one that just came out. La Orange and Jeremiah J. Just got this one. I pre-ordered it a while ago and just got it in. So, but yeah, just trying to get all my hip hop in order, and so that's been fun. That's pretty much it. Thank you all for joining, and that's pretty much my year in review. Obviously I got a lot more than that, but those were the highlights. Those were the things that I feel I really went after, and those were the kicks that I was on. So yeah, but Happy New Year. See you guys next year. All right, bye.